And here we have our air conditioning unit. We're gonna go ahead and give you a down and dirty quick demonstration of actually how to put this thing together once it shows up in the mail. First of all, take your Practice Samurai Sword and put that aside. We'll use that for later. This little guy right here, this attachment, is gonna slide right in there, right in the exhaust port. And then the tube right here, which is all collapsed, is going to situate itself right in there. It just screws in nicely. And then once this expands, it will be connected to this little module right here. And then that module will connect to this. And then of course, this whole thing goes right up in your window. So I've got a sliding window that's vertical that goes that way. If yours is horizontal, that is your window goes up and down. This piece right here may in fact be too wide, but no worries, just get a hacksaw and cut right through that. It's just hard plastic. So the first step that you're gonna want to do is, you'll notice that this slides easily like that. And to lock this into position, you're going to want to drop this little piece right here into there. And then on the other side, you're gonna lock it down using this wing nut. Flip it over, and you will see that this aligns with this groove right there, and it just slides right on in. So what this essentially does is that when we flip it over like this, and we tighten this down, it locks these two sliding pieces into place, and it's actually stayed in place. So when we put this up in the window, it actually stays put, it doesn't slide. That's brilliant. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, you should put a bar of some kind in your window just so that you're not compromising the security of your household because, well, obviously now you have an unlocked window. Okay, alrighty, let's go ahead and walk through a few basic features now that it is all set up. Boy, it looks beautiful. Now, first of all, it does have a surge protector down here, and that will actually trip if, in fact, you get some kind of lightning or something. So that's pretty cool that it's integrated into the plug itself. But anyway, on to the actual display. First of all, to turn it on like so, and it just takes a second to boot up. Be sure that the vent is, in fact, open. That is important. All right, now we're gonna go over here. We can do timer, speed. You know what? Let's hop over first to the mode right here. You'll see that little crystal right there, that snowflake? Obviously, that means it is in air conditioning mode. To switch between modes, that is dehumidifier, and then that is just the fan. And then when we click it again, it goes back to air conditioning. Okay, so let's say that you want this to stop halfway through the night. Let's say 5 hours into sleeping, you want this to just turn off so you're not wasting electricity, it's already cold. You go over here, hit timer. We're gonna say we want this to turn off in 5 hours, just like that. And it just takes a little while to register that we want that to happen, and it will do that. How cool. But let's go ahead and turn that off, shall we? So we're gonna do that, and we're just gonna zero it back out. So now it is always on. Let's go ahead and play with the actual speed right here. So we've got low, or low right there, and high right there, okay? Of course, it is below 73 degrees, so it automatically turned off, which is very smart right now. But during the heat of summer, woo boy, we're gonna need this, yeah. These don't really do much beyond just adjusting the temperature at which you want this to click on. So of course it is above 64 degrees right now. Whoo, that's chilly. It's gonna be like a meat freezer. And you just give that just a second for it to, and there it goes. It automatically starts up on high because it realizes, whoa, we gotta cool down this room fast to get down to 64 degrees. Yes, we do. The lock button right here, if we were to go ahead and hold that down for 3 seconds, that's kind of a child lock because it is about the same height as a toddler, and if a toddler comes along here and suddenly just starts pushing all the buttons, you don't want that. So if you hold down the lock button, it creates this child lock if you have grandchildren, for example. And there, now it is off, and now we can go about and actually adjust it. Isn't that handy? Very cool. So there you go, down and dirty demonstration of the little features on this thing. Ooh, boy, that pumps out a lot. That is cold, really cold. Lastly, before I let you guys go, 2 quick maintenance tips. If you remove this hose like so, you can pull that tab, and this entire thing comes out and you can actually clean this. So you can rinse it underwater, or if you have pets and whatnot. Now this doesn't actually clean the air because it's not the greatest of screens, but you know what? If you've got carpet, odds are one summer of using this thing, it's gonna gunk up. They recommend cleaning this vent and that vent every 2 weeks. Another thing, absolutely imperative, keep these plugs plugged. Unless in fact you have very, very moist weather, because if you leave this open, this will drain water out. Now they do use the actual water from the atmosphere to cool everything in there. So you don't necessarily have to drain this, but here in the Pacific Northwest, if it starts to rain, I typically unplug those and I get their provided tubes like this, and I hook this up to a bucket of some kind. It's kind of trashy looking having a bucket of water right next to your air conditioning unit, but again, not a lot of people this will apply to, but if you live in a super, super moist environment, go ahead and take this out, plug their hose in, take that out, plug a hose in there, and have the ends of these hoses dripping and draining into a bucket right on the side. Make sure that the end of the hose is not actually submerged. It actually has to drip. Okay, so that's very important. But again, odds are you'll just leave those closed for the vast majority of people. So there you go, quick little maintenance tips. And that ends our installation and review of this fantastic air conditioning unit. I am not paid for by VLUKO. They're not compensating me to gush over this thing. It just works for me, and I don't know, it might work for you guys also. And of course, the Practice Katana, as you guys have been waiting for this. Now, of course, the point of a Practice Katana, point, get it, because there's no real point on this thing. So you can whack and hack at people as hard as you'd like, and you know, the worst thing that they're probably gonna get is broken bones, as evidenced by the fact that there's a balloon right here, and didn't really do anything. So there you go, highly recommended.